Lesson 36. Brazil still in shock after nightclub inferno. Brazilians are still in shock at the devastating loss of life after the nightclub fire in the city of Santa Maria in southern Rio Grande do Sul state. The blaze at the Kiss Club has so far claimed the lives of 236 partygoers. The death toll could rise as another 87 people are fighting for their life on respirators in intensive care units. Investigators have been quick to ascertain the cause of such a high number of fatalities. They blame highly flammable and toxic foam that was used to soundproof the club. Santa Maria Police Chief Marcelo Aragoni told reporters if it weren't for this material, no one would have died. The police also blamed faulty fire extinguishers and alarms, and a single obstructed emergency exit. The co-owner of the nightclub is blaming the whole country for the disaster. Alessandro Spar, 28, has been arrested by police for operating a nightclub without a valid license after his club's safety certificate expired last year. He is currently in a hospital after trying to commit suicide. He reportedly told police officers he no longer has the will to live and regrets he was ever born. His lawyer says Mr. Spar blames all the inspectors who approved the plans for the nightclub, saying, "My client's responsibility is having trusted too much in the inspectors and in those responsible for the construction." He denies police reports of overcrowding, that 1,200 people were in a place with a capacity of 700. One. What adjective was used to describe the loss of life? 2. What word was used instead of fire? 3. Where were another 87 people? 4. Why was the foam so dangerous? 5. What was wrong with the emergency exit? 6. Who does the co-owner of Kiss blame for the fire? 7. Why didn't the club have an up-to-date safety certificate? 8. Why is the co-owner in hospital? 9. Who did the lawyer say Mr. Spar trusted too much? 10. What did Mr. Spar deny? One. How can tragedies like this happen in the 21st century? 2. What can governments do to prevent future tragedies? 3. What's the best way to remember the victims of the fire? 4. What questions should the investigators ask about the fire? 5. Why do you think such hazardous materials were used in the nightclub? 6. Should the person responsible for faulty fire extinguishers and alarms be prosecuted? 7. Do you ever worry about the safety of crowded places you go to? 9. Have you ever been somewhere you thought was unsafe? 10. What lessons can other nightclubs and public spaces learn from Santa Maria? 11. Is it disrespectful to the victims that everyone is blaming other people and no one is taking any responsibility for what happened? 12. How can Alessandro Spar blame the whole country? 13. How has Alessandro Spar's life changed? 14. Should someone be prosecuted if there were too many people in the club? 15. Will corners always be cut regarding safety to save money? Lesson 37. France shuns use of Twitter, hashtag. French authorities have declared war on the English word hashtag and its continuing drive to keep its language as free as possible from English loanwords. France's government has a special department that oversees the purity of its language and issues recommendations regarding outside influences. The General Commission for Terminology and Neologisms has decided that hashtag will no longer be used in government documents and public statements. Instead, it will use the new French term modis, which is translated as sharp word. The Commission also encouraged users of social media, especially people on Twitter, to use the new word. Hashtag is the latest English word to fall foul of the French authorities. Officials recently released a list of words and terms they want removed. These include email, blog, supermodel, takeaway, chewing gum, parking, weekend, and low-cost airline. School teachers in France have been urged to discourage students from using them. Many Twitter users pointed out that modis refers to the wrong symbol, as the word "des" denotes the sharp symbol from music, which looks similar to the hashtag symbol. One comment on the Huffington Post website suggested France needed to accept new words. It said, "Many languages use loan words and society hasn't fallen apart because of it." One. What has France declared war on? 2. What does the French government want to keep out of French? 3. What does the Commission look at besides terminology? 4. What does the French term modis mean? 5. Who in particular does France want not to use the word hashtag? 6. What did French officials release recently? 7. What adjective is used before the word airline? 8. Who has been discouraged from using English loan words? 9. In what publication was there a comment about this issue? 10. What hasn't happened to many societies that use loan words? One. When do you use hashtags? 2. Do you agree with France shunning the English word hashtag? 3. What do you think of English words entering your language? 4. How much do you like your language? 5. What loan words from your language is part of the English language? 6. Is English a good world language? 7. Will there only be one language in the world one day? 8. What neologisms, new words in your language do you like? 9. Would French be better with or without English words? 10. What English words do you dislike? 11. Do you think each language should have its own word for computer terms like mouse, software, internet keyboard, etc.? 13. Would you tell your children to keep English words out of their native language when they speak or write? 14. What do you think of the French referring to the sharp symbol from music instead of the hashtag symbol? 15. Do you agree with the comment from the Huffington Post reader? Lesson 38. U.S. town bans small bottles of water. The U.S. town of Concord in Massachusetts state has banned stores from selling water in bottles that are smaller than 1 liter. Stores who sell the water will have to pay a $50 fine. The new law is the result of a 3-year campaign by local resident Jean Hill. Ms. Hill first told people about the idea at a meeting in 2010. She wants people to drink more tap water and use fewer plastic bottles, which she says end up littering streets, rivers, and the countryside. She said, "Bottled water is bad for the environment, our health, and our public water systems." Concord's decision to go bottled water free is a great example of how communities can promote our most essential public service, the tap. Many people are unhappy with the new law, which started on New Year's Day. The bottled water industry said small bottles are very important for people's health. It said banning small bottles would mean people will drink more small bottles of colas and other soft drinks. Shops can still sell small bottles of other kinds of drinks. Local stores and restaurants say they will lose customers as people will simply drive to nearby towns to buy small bottles of water. One local resident said the new law is dangerous to her health. Ann Davidson, 82, said tap water is bad for her health, so she has to buy water, but 1.5-liter bottles are too heavy for her. People buy 50 billion small bottles of water each year in the USA. One. How big are the banned bottles of water? 2. What kind of fine will stores have to pay for selling the banned water? 3. When did Jean Hill first mention banning small water bottles? 4. What did Jean Hill say plastic bottles do to the environment? 5. What did Ms. Hill say was the most essential public service? 6. When was the start of the new law? 7. What will people drink instead of water? 8. Where will people drive to buy small bottles of water? 9. What is Ann Davidson's problem with 1.5-liter bottles of water? 10. How many small bottles of water do Americans buy every year? One. What do you think of bottled water? 2. Is bottled water pretty much the same as tap water? 3. What do you think of the banning of small bottles of water? 4. Are plastic bottles a problem in your town? 5. Should we all buy fewer things in plastic bottles? 6. We rarely bought bottled water 50 years ago. Why do we buy so much today? Is it clever marketing by water companies? 7. Would your life change much if all bottled water was banned? 8. Is the tap faucet our most essential public service? 9. Do you understand why people are unhappy with the new law? 10. Will the new law mean people get unhealthier because they will buy cola instead of water? 11. Are the water companies interested in our health or their profits? 12. Is the new law unfair on small shops and restaurants? 13. Why ban water in one town when people can buy it in nearby towns? 14. Could you drink only water and no other drinks? 15. How important is water to you? Lesson 39. Most divorces due to household chores. Most people believe that the biggest grounds for divorce are either infidelity or arguments over money. However, a new report from British law firm Gatterley suggests otherwise. According to its analysis of 350 divorce cases, 7 out of 10 divorces occur because of disputes over who does what household chores. 20% of divorces are due to unfaithfulness. Gatterley says gone are the days when the wife did all the cooking and cleaning. Dual-income marriages now mean split responsibilities for vacuuming, doing the dishes and tidying. Gatterley advised couples to discuss who does what before walking down the aisle. A spokeswoman said that going into a marriage blind could be a recipe for disaster. Conversely, a study in Norway suggests that couples who share household chores are more likely to split up. Thomas Hansen, co-author of the report Equality in the Home, said the divorce rate among couples who shared housework equally was 50% higher than for those where women did all the work. Mr. Hansen said that in Norway women did most of the housework in 70% of marriages and were largely happy to do so. An adverse side effect of marital discord is that many families are now too poor to split up. The UK charity Relate said that in many middle-income families, couples stay together because they can't afford a divorce. Relate says this results in a toxic home environment. One, what do most people believe are the biggest reasons for divorce? 2. What proportion of UK divorces is due to household chores? 3. What are 20% of UK divorces due to? 4. What now means split responsibilities? 5. What could be a recipe for disaster? 6. What does a Norwegian study suggest? 7. What percentage of Norwegian marriages did women do most chores? 8. What is an adverse side effect of marital discord? 9. What kind of families stay together because of financial problems? 10. What kind of home environment does Relate describe? One. How could housework be made more exciting? 2. What do you think of household chores being a big factor in divorces? 3. Do you do your fair share of household chores? 4. Who do you know who is lazy when it comes to household chores? What do you say to them? 5. Who should do the chores if both partners work? 6. Should the sharing of household chores and who does what be agreed upon before marriage? 7. What is your most hated household chore and why? 8. Is not discussing household chores a recipe for disaster? 9. What do you think of housework? 10. Men are generally physically stronger, so should they do more of the housework? 11. What do you think of the Norwegian study that says shared housework leads to more divorce? 12. What do you think of 70% of Norwegian women being largely happy to do most of the housework? 13. What happens when families are too poor to split up? 14. Is the issue of household chores becoming a bigger problem? Lesson 40. Law says visit old relatives or pay a fine. China has passed a new law that says people must visit their older relatives. This means older parents or grandparents can sue their kids and grandkids for not visiting them. The new law will start on July 1, 2013. It is part of a new campaign called the Protection of the Rights and Interests of the Elderly. China says it is so the country's aging population is not left alone. There have been many stories recently in China's newspapers of old people dying alone because their children do not visit them. More than half of China's elderly live alone. Even though the law says children have to visit their older relatives often, it does not say how often is. It also does not say how much the fine is for not visiting often. China is becoming an aging society because of its one-child-per-family policy. In 1978, the Chinese government told all couples they could have only one child. Some families could have two or more, such as those living in the countryside, ethnic minorities, or people who had twins. The Xinhua news agency said that at the end of 2011, almost 14% of China's population was over 60 years old. That's more than 184 million people. This number is increasing because of China's rapid economic development. More and more young people are leaving the countryside to work in China's cities. Their parents are left alone and have to look after themselves. There are very few homes for the aged in the countryside. 1. What can parents do to children who do not visit them? 2. When does the new law start? 3. What stories have recently been in Chinese newspapers? 4. How many of China's old people live alone? 5. How much is the fine for not visiting old people? 6. When did China's one-child policy start? 7. How many children could you have if you lived in the countryside? 8. How much of China's population is over 60? 9. What are many of China's young leaving? 10. What aren't there many of in the countryside? One. Are the elderly looked after well in your country? 2. What do you think it is like to be 70 or 80 years old? 3. How often should children visit their older parents? 4. Why is this law needed? 5. Has society broken if old people are dying alone? 6. What do you learn from the old people around you? 7. Do you think you'll be alone in your old age? 8. How much should the fine be for not visiting old people? 9. What do you think of the elderly? 10. What do you think the elderly worry about? 11. What do you think of a law that says you must visit your aging parents? 12. What are the good and bad things about being old? 13. What do you think of China's one-child per family policy? 14. What are the problems of an aging society? 15. Should the government build more care homes for the elderly?